Hello. On Facebook, I had another page they took away from me too, so they could do verbal tricks, pretend not to realize. With a Scalora family, recorded and confessed. They took it off because I didn't answer right away because I was waiting for him to talk more. Because him and people tied to houses in my area with crimes with kids, with courts, and with proven sex offenders, are further with more police interbranch with that tied to a database crime method recorded. And then reactions to them were like Josh Julian, he's like a skinny, I'm not a big guy, but he's like a skinny guy, he says he used to be a big thing as a wrestler. I never knew I remember hearing his name before. And online he's been harassing me for years. And with others, like creepy people. You know what I'm saying? I don't say anything because I don't like to hurt people's feelings. And you say, well, why don't you say something when someone's doing like that? And then you're right to hurt their feelings. Because they're also tied to people, men and women police and doctors recorded tied to them with drug clicks through time that also pretended they had conversations with me in databases. These are drug clicks. They're confessed with drug clicks and federal crime rolls with New Britain Superior Court, with Hartford Superior Court, and with the police and with investigators with them through time, and with federal crime rolls. They attached me to fake conversations about cases that were in the Ninth Circuit in the Trade Center context. They have drug crime and other kind of federal crime rolls with the daughter who was in my grade of one of the federal criminals. Another one lived on a Dearborn Street in Newington with Eric Jensen, who lived there but went to my high school in Wethersfield. Also made confessions about the street of Anthony Yagmin and his brothers involved with the two Mendez brothers, detectives of Wethersfield Police. Also recorded and confessed involved with the police in the courts and the judges, and cliques with child prisons, sick with the areas. Child prisons, and the same thing, the probate courts especially, tied to elderly homes and tied to like these mental health guys and women, recorded like they have their whole families there, criminally. You know what I'm saying? And with foreign doctors, recorded involved in forging names, switching names with them, and with a child predator with one of the. Now these are with two child predators recorded and confessed, already proven, with recorded ties to the courts criminally and to the police criminally. Now see, they're going to claim other about what is proven, that they're child predators with the court that have federal crimes with first, because they're sequence shifting. So they've been spreading rumors that through time they end up with this whole huge drug clicks from my grade that I never had anything to do with, tied to the neighbors from my grade with a clique that I never had anything to do with. And the exception with Ray Cololo, once in a while I only know him from the confessions tied to this. He had a cousin in my grade. I never hung around with them. He had a Scalora family recorded and confessed, he confessed by them. He said it was his relatives too. It's another family that the police are recorded and confessed criminally involved with evidence crimes, lies they put about me. Switch sequence, pretended things were recorded, and then put it in quotes to hide child predators, later proven. With the schools, too, because the Mendez brothers are recorded and confessed involved with further on and off-campus crime rolls with drugs through time. Since I did a report on them with rolls with a KKK-themed drug dealer that was on off-campus, associated with rackets with the people, with conversations with a security guard, John, that we used to have, you know. And then and this is also that has a lipograph is maintaining reactions like that, which are federal crimes verbally, that are just pretended other, tied to databases. And then that was exploited then later, because then those federal criminals had, and like one with the daughter of my grade and the other ones that had drug dealing that they had tied to my class with the interbranch recorded evidence predators. Eric Jensen, Christine Tardet, with the courts. Since they were kids, they were making confessions about this. Also, people tied to a Cross Automotive and a Caesar guy there. And that's right down the street. That's right down the hill from the Samuel Dick's house. Which is, and then that street goes straight down to the one that the Samuel Dick's on the corner. Goes right down to where Paul Manafort Drive is, with on-off campus interbranch Connecticut originally maintained criminally foreign influence branches that were with fact treatment racket roles with their treatments of Paul Manafort and with of the Russian election treatments, because they have Russians recorded and juxtaposed involved with the drug crimes with them, with the kids, formal and informal. We have agencies of modern nations that are predators against us here and there. In other words, they have physical delusions still from originally uncharged and still uncharged and exploited mental health care corruption tied to courts and to fact treatment rackets. And that has to hide life progressions, and it's with their roles maintained needing that anyways through areas relationships to the prisoners, the prison stewards of child prisons and of other prisons, and of their family members, and of the branch's family members, through intercampus, only that realized victim predators. This is what motivated interbranch roles with slavery originally. Areas maintained, life progression cover-up needs, per the method that made life progression cover-up natures needing to hide that too, and then you keeping juxtaposed needed the investigations and reactions, everyone, all as victim predator naive reactions, then needing, as breaching tools are the opinions of everybody, and because they're opinions that are offensively predatory to the Constitution, like saying that someone with allegations against them, they're painting only someone who can't think and holds their hands like this. And if they don't hold like that, they're painting interbranch predators into collusion through their original and maintain criminal foreign influences. All kinds of drug crime rules, formal, with the people that are supposed to be against that, with child predators, with the doctors, with the prisons, with the child predator roles, with them before the prisoners were there, recorded. Joshua Julian recorded and confessed with roles with Weathersfield campus, with crimes with the police with them. Phil Cololo was recorded and confessed involved criminally by Bob Chase, also recorded and confessed with physical delusions and with evidence crime roles with the courts, predators. How they hid this first. First, they had the guy in school, and further they have more further recorded and confessed involved with the policing of stores, and how that was his shared intonation, like with the campuses of each age, tied to pretending on sharing policing of that. Fact treatment rackets with the investigators and stuff like that, tied to this. So this Joshua Julian, I don't know. They're like trying to school bully someone who's an adult that they never had a class with. I never had anything to do with him. He's trying to tell people I partied with him. I never partied with Josh Julian. He's a little rat chap, friend of my neighbors in the little clique with the police family, a fire department family, proven child predator. Also with the courts and with the other one I need the name of. They know it's recorded. Also tied to the Dillon family. Also recorded and confessed involved with the previous and the neighbors who moved in. and with with Anna Dillon. I don't know if that's related to the same Dillon family, but she's criminally involved too. So we need courts, and the news fakes both sides of stories. WFSB is recorded and confessed. They were told to pretend I had mental diagnosis in relationship to doctors as a kid that weren't at all. And as an adult, they forged names to a Leahy family. They're playing games right through you parents because they owe you a lot of money, and they want to make it other. We're going to have the Attorney General sweep them. You should have them forced to follow the rules. See, WFSB, by faking both sides of stories, they attach me and my family and the other sides to fake story sides. They also, I have a relative. I have extended family members that indicated they were being coerced criminally, which is they have a coerced criminally to have part with database crime rules, investigator crime rules. So they better put something in paper too. They don't put anything in paper since I was a kid. These are extortion acts. But if it was debatable, it's not debatable that they have recorded mail crimes. They have recorded forging name crimes. They have recorded confessions tied to that. Recorded sequence shifting crime rules. Witness fabrications for the Trade Center attack, where they attach people to fake conversations where they had and have recorded federal crime relationships to the federal criminals that were in the cases they pretended I talked to from the Trade Center case. There was a Ninth Circuit case. My father proved that he had hand-delivered his papers for a labor suit after one he already won years ago. And it was time-stamped again and made to appear late before the panel of judges that day. That was proven. That led to a 2006 case with the federal criminals. One of them had a daughter in my grade and had roles with it, like all kinds of intelligent people with corruption with that. They were juxtaposed through time with confessed and recorded crime roles and with other investigators like Attorney Chevalier, also recorded and confessed, involved with military police, and like the court police with like intercity through time with Wethersfield, but also with West Hartford and with Hartford, and connecting these people to needs, We have the rules not let followed. We have the news faking both sides of stories to cover live progressions from adults who were raised as little victim predators with others' minds in their names, others' names in their minds, criminally, because of how we were and are originally juxtaposed with other nations also criminally legalized. We have nations as legal criminal insidiousness nature, but they're also juxtaposed. It was also criminally. That's what the religions are about. Legalized as criminal, justified, legalized criminal insidiousness. It was also juxtaposed with overtly criminal enterprise natures and undercover and stuff like that. Recorded pretending undercover is that per methods and needs for them to get away with predicate acts. Like witness fabrications with the Trade Center, fake conversations, fake relations to people through time used. Also, a Scalora family was recorded and confessed with interstate crime rules with investigators with the Trade Center corruption, with the context right before it, the night before it, and since. Also with nuns tied to West Hartford police forms into the West Farms Mall. Recorded and confessed, involved with bad things, all kinds of child abusers, with courts with different method of child abuse. So there's proofs that they fake the stories about like the child prostitution on Zion Street next to Trinity College. A couple times they had something like that in the news, because that is tied to their recorded crime methods with kids with the same area and intercity connected through time. Just remind. Fred Grisey, I never had anything to do in my life, went out of his way to record and confess that he had roles with people that were abusing him and girls next to the high school that are now adults, with roles with other people's minds and with investigations that are criminal, and they don't even know, because the news is fake at both sides to cover life progressions tied to this, and tied to all that's really recorded next to the schools, connected. Also, Justin Kovinskis and his wife Lucinda are recorded and confessed involved with database crime rolls, with drug crime rolls with kids through time, and with evidence crime rolls with courts, drug clicks and stuff like that. I never tried to contact in my life. Also, recorded and confessed involved with others, with the buildings, right before a body dumping spot, real or made up, while also with federal crime rolls that person is. With undercovers, recorded and confessed involved, with MPs and stuff like that, with other federal crimes, with cases. In other words, we have federal crimes that are verbal being used to maintain criminally foreign influence areas and states, voices and natures, inclusion with other nations, life progression, cover-up nature, styles, blaming the real cause of negative value nature progressions and acts on not others. That's how they left, pretending they knew what science is, while people stacking with New York City, especially, and stuff like that. But look at Hartford, Connecticut. Another way, so especially right before New York and Boston, right where George Washington had the semi-counter store, where he had his slavery in Wethersfield, right between New York and Boston. So that's why we come to the Samuel Dix house. George Washington could only semi-counter extort this. They had his slavery. George Washington and James Madison were fact treatment nature slavery. They wanted to overcome it, especially James Madison, our founding father. See, Marbury versus Madison. We have this. We have is the magnitude of what this means not realized. Free speech. We have it sequence shifting and stacked to lies forced respected still, because we have criminally criminally foreign influence areas and states, natures recorded.